There are good shows, and then there are special shows. Good shows are just that, objectively good shows. Shows with challenging narrative, great execution, a powerful story or message, nearly objectively certain in their goodness. And then there are special shows. Shows that may meet all of that criteria or none of it. Shows that you can't help but think about long after they're gone. That makes you want to go online and write a review for them, even though you've never done that before and the place is toxic. Shows that can be flawed, but capture your heart and mind in a way that simply a good show never quite could. And I know this is a vague definition about a feeling that's almost impossible to pin down, but there's no better word I can use for what I'm about to describe. Scissor 7 is a special show. It caught me by surprise and hit me a lot harder than I ever expected it to. And it's the most fun I've had watching anime in a long time. Scissor 7, or Killer 7 in China, is a Chinese anime on Netflix that first aired in 2018. Unassuming enough, the show follows a broke island barber with amnesia as he attempts to earn money as a masterclass assassin and fails, constantly and miserably. And I have to say, the first episode does a decent job opening that up. The style of the show is very sketch-like rather than the polish of other anime. It reminds me a lot of the roughness of Mob Psycho, how the style, while not necessarily to everyone's taste, is incredibly charming, in my opinion, and allows the animators to go crazy with any forms or faces they want. It's a show that you will love the more you watch it. Most of its episodes are under 20 minutes, but that allows every minute to be full of movement, jokes, fights, emotion. The animators have traded picture-perfect instances of polished poster people for living, moving beings with various degrees of quirkiness, ugliness, odd faces, and movement. The music and the sound design honestly has no right being as damn good as it is, with songs that even I've downloaded, despite the fact that they're in Chinese. And the voice acting, while a tad stale at times, does really grow on you as each sound begins to embody each character. And above all, in every aspect of the show, you can tell its creators love it. There is so much passion in Scissor 7, so much that really didn't need to be done, but it's clear that the showrunners, the animators, and maybe even the voice actors are having fun. At least I think they are. I don't really have a good basis for Chinese animation or voice acting. Now, enough dancing around the question. How's the story? Well, it's a little tricky to explain. It's very shonen in its presence. It won't win any rewards for its amazing narrative, but I think it's very honest and very slice of life in its presentation, as most days sort of seem unconnected on Chicken Island and offer a tiny vignette of life on the island. And its very first episode highlights this, with a cold open that just sort of runs with the attitude of the show, introducing Seven and his two chicken accomplices. The goal is set to become a master assassin and to get money, and his first mission is to cut the hair of a woman on her wedding day. A bit anticlimactic, but the money is good and the job is taken, with a pair of scissors and a magic egg that can turn Seven into any object. And he succeeds, sort of, but that's not the focus of the episode, of course. Instead, it's the moment right before, where the bride and the groom plays a slideshow of their time together, from the moment they were children to present day. And while it's played for laughs, as well as Seven's reaction, the moment does bring him to tears, because he has no memories of his past. No family he really loves. And to be honest, it hit me a bit. Of course, I'm not an amnesiac, and I have people who love and care for me, but those memories, those pictures that show a clear past and clearly display the value that two people have for each other, makes you wish that you had something just like that. And seeing Seven react to it in that way, even though it's comedic, does make you feel for him. But that moment, that very moment right there, begins the journey of our character Seven from a quirky, lonely barber to something else, something better. That's the dual core of the show, the traits that make up the people of Chicken Island, and the relationships that bring them together. Characters don't just fade away to be forgotten. Instead, they're built upon, seen in later episodes, and become something of a family. Speaking of characters, Scissor 7 has some top-notch character design, and some really strong passive world building. that sort of brings all of these varied characters with varied superpowers, varied personalities, varied designs together in a way that doesn't feel jarring. And they each have their own strengths and weaknesses, and are all more than badass enough. Every character on Scissor 7 is more than what they appear, and has more depth than quite a few other shows of its similar variety, even though that depth isn't necessarily an ocean, and we only have 20 minutes to really explore it. It still shows that the show has a lot of thought put into it, even if they can't always display everything that they want to. And I think it's better that way, at least in this case. It leaves a lot to the imagination. And a world where a man can change into a fish, a dog can sing death metal, a secreted cat doctor can revive a butt, and a granny dominatrix can destroy an assassin, your suspension of disbelief is essentially annihilated in a very satisfying way. Finally, I take you to our protagonist 7, a duality unto himself, a bumbling idiot hairdresser with a much darker past than what the first few episodes suggest. But slowly and surely, this lovable idiot grows on you, I'd argue more than some other shonen protagonists. And by season 3, he's still an idiot, but he's a competent one, with friends, with family that he would do anything for, who just so happened to be a ton of people who he was either originally supposed to kill or were supposed to kill him. And before you know it, 7 has his own memories. And that brings us to season 3. We're in a cruel twist of fate. Oh, spoilers right now. Let me stop right there. Spoilers for season 3. We're in a cruel twist of fate. 7 is at risk of losing these memories one more time. And it really hurts to see, after seeing him come so far from episode 1, only to see all of that he's done being ripped away. It's hard. And he knows it. He knows in the end that those memories are slowly graying, that they may no longer exist. But lying alone and cold, he has no regrets. His cheerful self is never fully gone. The comedic tone of the beginning, while muddied in the season, is still there. And he's simply happy to have made such memories, no matter how much pain they've causing him now. And the fact that the show can twist that knife like that, and yet still keep the optimism, still keep the same spirit and animation and hope of the original episodes that permeated the show in the beginning, is a really impressive feat. And that's why I think it's an absolute crime that so few people outside of China have heard of Scissor 7, let alone watched it. This show is an easy 9 out of 10 for me, and has cemented itself in some of my top anime of all time. So there. That's my review. I would highly recommend giving Scissor 7 a chance. It is odd to start, and I would also highly recommend the sub. The dub, some people enjoy it. It's not my thing, especially at the beginning. Threw me off a bit. But Scissor 7 grows on you. Much like Castlevania, the characters and the animation just keeps getting better as the seasons go on. And a movie's even been announced for this. So we'll be getting plenty of Scissor 7, hopefully for a while. And yeah, it's just a really good show. I would highly recommend giving it a chance. Anyway, if you liked my little thing here, leave a like, leave a subscribe, leave a comment if you want me to change anything in my videos, if you think that I could improve in any form or fashion. I always love feedback. Or if you have any good suggestions for what to watch next. There's a lot of stuff coming out, and I'm not entirely sure, but I will be getting to Over the Garden Wall at some point. It's probably around Halloween. I think that'd be a really cool Halloween video. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Even just a thumbs up. You don't have to subscribe. That would mean a lot to me. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. All of you have a great day.